Welcome to Intuitive Flow, hosted by me, Mikaela Filar, intuitive energy healer and mindset mentor. You've landed in the space you need to be to hear the no bullshit truth about how to actually manifest the life that you crave. This is the podcast that's here to shake you awake. It's time to unapologetically step into the woman you came here to be, the one who effortlessly attracts everything she desires. Let's flow. Hey guys, what's up? And welcome back to Intuitive Flow with Mikaela Filar. I can't wait to get into today's episode. We are walking into a new era here on the pod. We just got through with, that new year energy, becoming the version of you who knows what the fuck she wants and knows that she is capable of getting it. So if you missed the last couple of episodes and you are still kind of confused on who it is that you're going to have to step into being in order for you to achieve all of the incredible things and do all of the incredible things and become the woman who is fucking her, like if that is the energy that you are wanting to adapt and like really get clear on who that version of you is, definitely go back, listen to the last couple of episodes where I break down all of the things. And then also if you missed it yesterday, well, I'm recording this, on this day, but yesterday which now when this is coming out, it'll be like a few days ago, last Sunday, I held my Becoming Her masterclass. And you guys, holy tits, like over 100 of you have signed up for it. And that is so exciting. And it was so incredible. I had almost 40 of you there live, and it was so special. And I just had a full circle moment because I literally remember, you guys, the time when I have always dreamed of filling up a Zoom room, okay? I have always visualized it where you actually have to like hit the arrow to see there's 2 pages or more of people who have been there live. Like it was such a like, oh my gosh moment. Like my vision had become my reality. Like this is real life right now. And I remember when I first started out, obviously, like I would host free masterclasses all of the time. And there would be times where absolutely nobody fucking showed up. Like nobody came, nobody cared, nobody gave a shit about what I had to say. And that's okay. But guess what? I still showed up and I held that masterclass anyways. And I was telling Bryson this last night. About how this used to be my reality where like I would hold free masterclasses and nobody would show up. And so I would just pretend like there was 100 people on the call anyways. And I would hold the masterclass anyways and teach and practice, right? And I told that to Bryson and he goes, that makes me so sad for you. I'm so sad for you. If I would have known, then I would have shown up to your free masterclass, babe. And I'm like, first of all, you're adorable and I love you so much. Second of all, I didn't know who you are, but it was so cute. Anyways, I had to tell that story, but like full circle moment. So maybe you are just starting out and maybe you're hosting free masterclasses and maybe you're getting, 0 to minimal signups, whatever. You don't think that it's enough, but like, just know that if you keep going and you practice, eventually your success is fucking inevitable. Okay. It's going to happen for you. You just have to not give up. And trust me, you're going to want to, you're going to want to give up, but don't do it. I promise it will be worth it. If you have a mission and a purpose and you know that you're on your soul pool, just freaking keep going. I promise you it'll be worth it once you get there and you can watch all of your hard work, all of the trials, all of the tribulation, all of the what if this doesn't work, all of the master classes where nobody showed up. Like it's all just going to become real. Okay? I promise it will happen for you. Just don't give up. But anyways, there was a ton of you guys on this masterclass last night, you got what I'm saying. But It was so freaking good. It was 3 hours long. And it ended up being 3 hours long. I was creating the masterclass and I was like, this is definitely going to be longer than 2 hours. So it's 3 full hours. And we get into so freaking much. I jam-packed so much in there. We've got a full vision board party. I did mini intuitive reads for some lucky winners. And if you get the recording, then like no matter what, you're hearing these reads and you're an energetic match to hear whatever is being asked. So it's going to either resonate with you right then and there, or it's going to resonate with you in the future and help you in the future. So definitely very, very valuable. A lot of tools were given in that hour while everyone was making their vision boards. And then we got into how I manifest faster and achieve my 5-year goals in 1 year. And we also went over the 3 layers of manifestation and why you need all of them in order for your manifestations to come into fruition. And we also did a guided meditation where I take you through living the actual vision and then figuring out and getting a download from your higher self of like, what is the vision beyond the vision? Like, it was just such a powerful and special masterclass. The testimonials are already rolling in. So many of you guys loved it, and the replay has gone out. And I am going to have this be kind of just like a freebie that lives on my website for you guys to snag whenever you want. And I am really excited for you guys to get your hands on it because it's such a powerful masterclass. So if you want that replay, go ahead and check out the show notes below. I'll just go ahead and put the link in there for you. Yeah, it's going to be great. So grab that replay if you want 2026 to be like, you know, your year of becoming fucking her. Okay. Anyways, I digress. That was like a little tangent, but I can't not talk about that freaking masterclass because it was just so freaking good and everyone loved it and I loved it. I had so much fun doing it. So anyways, getting back on track today, what we are stepping into this next era is intuition, getting into intuition. And I feel like there is like a disconnect between like people not really understanding fully how important it is and how much it affects your life if you learn how to use it and learn how to trust it. So today's episode is going to be a little bit about that. And I want to ask you something because let's be so for real. How often do you hear the word intuition and think that it's only for psychics or healers or people who quote unquote just have a gift or people who don't have like real world responsibilities, like people who don't live just like a normal life? That's the biggest lie around intuition. Intuition is not some abstract spiritual concept. And it's not just about pulling tarot cards or having downloads during a meditation. Intuition is how you make decisions when the logic runs out. Intuition is how you make decision when logic runs out. It is how you choose yourself when circumstances tell you not to. It is how you move before the evidence shows up. And today, I'm going to be sharing some real and very raw stories from my life where trusting my intuition, even when it made absolutely zero logical sense, is the exact reason that I am here today. And that's not because it was easy, as we know. And it's not because I was abundant at the time. I mean, abundant like wealth-wise. I was abundant in other ways. It's because I trusted myself anyways. So our first story here, I want to take you back to December of 2024. I was broke as fuck. Like after the bills were paid, there was nothing left. I was applying for part-time jobs. I was on Indeed looking at full-time positions as well. I was exhausted. I was over it. And I was questioning everything. And I remember having thoughts like, maybe this just isn't working for me, or maybe I should just give up on my business, or maybe I do need to be more realistic. Maybe I should have gone to school. And then that's where my intuition came in. My intuition didn't say, don't worry, everything's going to magically work out and you don't have to do any of the work. No, 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 no. It said, don't abandon yourself now. So fucking clearly. Don't abandon yourself now. There was a quiet and grounded knowing inside of me that said, this isn't the fucking end, bitch. This is not the end. And instead of letting fear, right, the fear of, it being like this for the rest of my life, make my decision for me, I kept showing up. I kept creating. I kept trusting the version of me who knew this wasn't the full story. And that decision obviously changed everything. Everything. Imagine if I gave up. Like, imagine if I gave up. Imagine if I would have let fear take over. Because, yeah, I did have these thoughts. I did think maybe this isn't working. Maybe I should just give up on my business. Maybe I need to be realistic. But then it wasn't long after having those thoughts that I snapped the fuck out of it and was like, no, I have to keep going. Yes, I was looking up jobs and I was very serious about getting a part-time job while like I continued to pursue my business, and that would have sucked. And I'm 100% like, I know that had I not been like, no, I'm not going to give up. I will find a way. Either way, I'm going to find a way to make this work for me. Like, I didn't give up even when shit got really fucking hard, even when things didn't logically make any sense for me to keep going. And it's not like I wasn't making any money from my business, right? It's just like I was barely making enough to make ends meet. And that is fucking stressful. When you are an entrepreneur and you do not have like that consistency in your business, it's so stressful. And there's a part of you that feels like you are failing. Like, it is inevitable that was just how I felt. Like, there was a huge part of me that felt like I was a failure. And that was something that I had to shift. I had to, like, that's not true. Like, that, the fact that I have built that I had built up into that point was insane, but I wasn't recognizing myself for that. And so shifting that and then recognizing myself was such a huge moment. But if I didn't know this work, if I didn't know to get to the emotional root cause of why I was feeling the way that I was feeling, I wouldn't have been able to shift it, heal it, and then create a different outcome for myself, right? This is where the work that I do, I use on myself in situations every single day, but especially in these moments where I do have a fucking crash out and I'm like, oh my God, I need to go find a part-time job, or this isn't working and I should just give up. Like, why am I not making X amount of money? Like, that means that I'm failing, right? Like, all of these things, all of these limiting beliefs, they were very temporary. And by January of 2025, I was like, what the fuck was I thinking? What was I doing? Even looking on Indeed for like full-time jobs, like I could literally never. I would rather eat fucking glass than work for somebody else. Like, what are you even doing? Like, this is it. You're closing the back door. And it was that fucking decision that really helped me get to where I am now, right? Like, I'm convinced that plateau was like the ultimate test for my higher self of like, how bad do you want it, bitch? Right? So if it weren't for my intuition in so many phases of that like month where I was like crashing out and thinking that I was going to give up completely, if it weren't for my intuition, I would not be where I am now, because logically it didn't make sense to keep going. It didn't make sense to say, fuck the part-time job. It didn't make sense to say no to the like full-time job offer, right? Like, it didn't make logical sense, but I was like, no, I'm going to slam the fucking door. I'm slamming the back door. There is no plan B. This has to fucking work. Period. End of story. My success is inevitable. And it wasn't until I embodied that identity, especially in that moment, that things started to change. More things that happen in 2025. There was this retreat that my mentor was hosting that I really wanted to go on or go to. And logically, like, I couldn't afford it at all. So instead of like forcing making it happen, instead of spiraling around not being able to be there, I planted seeds. Intuitively, I had this idea. Like, it was a random day and my intuition was like, you should reach out and ask if they need help. I've been working with my mentor for 3 years. She taught me how to hone in on my intuition the way that I have. And I've worked with her one-on-one, et cetera, right? So she knows me very well. And I'm like, I'm going to see if she needs any help. And she messages me back and says, you know what? We don't need any help right now, but if we reach this amount of people, then I'll reach out to you. Okay, well, guess what? It was a week before the retreat and she reached that amount of people. She needed my help. I literally had 2 days to figure out how I was going to get to Arizona from California, which I think was like a 6-hour drive or 8-hour drive, 6 or 8 hour drive. And I also had a few days to figure out how I was even going to afford like the place where I was going to stay overnight, right? For that 4 days or 3 days, whatever. And I didn't know how I was going to make those things happen. But as soon as she texted me and said she needed help, can I still make it? I said, absolutely. I cleared my schedule and I said, I don't know how I'm going to make this happen, but I'm going to make it happen because intuitively I knew that I needed to be in that fucking room. And if I didn't have intuition, if I didn't trust my fucking self fully to figure it the fuck out the way that I do, I wouldn't have taken that opportunity. I wouldn't have gone to the retreat because my logical scarcity mindset would have been, well, oh gosh, I'm just so broke. There's no way I can afford it. Or there's just no way that I can find a place to stay at such short notice. Guess what I did? I figured it the fuck out. I knew that my grandma had a timeshare and I was like, hey, I love you and I hope you're doing amazing. Is there by chance any place that you have available around this venue that I can stay at for the weekend? And she messaged me back probably an hour later and goes, actually, yes, there is this place available. And if let's say it didn't work out, I had a cousin apparently who lived in Arizona who I haven't talked to in fucking years, who I was willing to go and stay at her house for the time and drive an hour from her house to like where the retreat was being held each day to get there and to be a part of that whole situation. The place where I ended up staying was a 25-minute drive from the hotel or the whatever you would call it. They were kind of like condos. It was like I had my own little apartment situation. Because like I said, it was my grandma's timeshare. And I didn't even have I get to the timeshare, right? And I walk in and they're like, okay, we need a credit card for incidentals. Okay, well, I haven't used a credit card since 2022. So that's a fun fact about me. I ripped them all up and I paid them all off last year, and which is just like such a go Mikaela moment. But anyways, I digress. So I didn't have a credit card and they needed a card for incidentals. And it was like a $350 hold on my card. Okay, well, I didn't even have $350 in my fucking checking account at that time to give them my card. I had to call my grandma and be like, Grandma, again, I'm so sorry. I don't have this card. Like, I can't do this. Like, will you please, I didn't know about this. Can you please put your card down for the incidentals? And she's this sweet lady. I fucking love my grandma so much. It's insane. But she put her card down for incidentals. Like, I found a damn way. I did not take no for an answer. And even if my grandma wouldn't have answered, I would have called my best fucking friend. I have no shame. Like, I don't think you understand. If I want something, I'm going to make it fucking happen. If I know that I need to be in a room, I'm going to get in the fucking room no matter what it takes. If I see people who I know are living the life that I want to live and I and are doing the things that I want to do, I'm going to find a way to get into a room to hang out with them, to like be their friends because I don't live in the vicinity of like, I don't have a whole lot of friends where I live. All of my friends live like in all different places around the US, right? And some of them, like my closest friends who like I'm super close with, like they don't do what I do. They aren't in the intuitive realm. They don't have online businesses. They can't even fathom, you know, the types of goals and dreams that I am having and doing and all the things, right? So I on that level, like I can't they can't relate to me on that level. And that's okay. And I still love them, obviously, duh, of course. But I need people who get what I'm doing. I need people who understand what I'm doing. So I'm going to find those people and I'm going to become friends with them. Period. I'm going to create the community. I'm going to be a part of the community as well. And so that's what I did. I got into the fucking room. But anyways, I feel like that was kind of like a little tangent, but all on purpose for a purpose and for a reason. So with the retreat and everything and like getting to the hotel, or you know what I'm trying to say, not the hotel, but the condo situation for my grandma's timeshare. Um, would drive 25 minutes to the venue and then drive 25 minutes home after a full day of doing energy work and dancing and embodiment and like, oh my God, all the things. It was like insane. And I was exhausted. Okay. Exhausted. But it was so worth it. And if I hadn't followed my intuition and trusted myself to make it fucking happen. Oh, and by the way, how I got there was I drove. Like I drove 6 to 8 hours by myself all the way to Arizona from California. I did not care. I did what I had to do, as I always will. But I trusted, had I not have trusted my intuition to offer my gifts as an intuitive, I wouldn't have ended up in that spot. Like that just wouldn't have happened. Right. And it wasn't from like a desperation. It was from like, I know that this is what I need to do. I know that I need to be in this room and I'm just going to like put this little, plant this seed and see if this works out for me. And guess what? It did. And that whole time that she was like, oh, only if we reach this amount of people, I knew it was going to reach that amount of people. Like intuitively, I just knew. I knew that I was going to be there. But I also was like, well, I'm not going to make the decision. It was like this neutral knowing, which is how you know it's intuition. It's very neutral. But I just still technically only had a few days to figure out like how I was going to get there and where I was going to stay, which is just crazy. And I made it work. And I ended up facilitating at the retreat as an intuitive. And I didn't get paid. My payment was just being there. And here's the wild part. I had no idea how, like I said, like how I was going to pay for the hotel, how I was going to get to Arizona. I didn't even know how I was going to eat while I was there, which is like a whole other thing. I remember having a conversation with one of the team members and letting them know, like, I can't go to dinner with you guys tonight because I have to eat what I brought. I like went to the grocery store and like brought food with me to eat in my little hotel's like condo situation. Like your girl, like I'm not kidding, was struggling, but I didn't care. I didn't care. And I remember at that retreat, we did a workshop and I confessed all of this to one of the girls. Like things might look great on the outside, but they're really fucking not. And I'm never going to talk about things when I'm in the thick of it. I'm going to talk about things when I have the solution. So now that I have the solution, I'm like good with sharing these stories with you guys of like being not not in a good place in business because I now have the solution. I've now pulled myself out of it. I've now created a different reality for myself, right? But when you're in the thick of it and you're still experiencing the thing that's like not the fucking vibe and you don't know how, like you don't have a solution, why would you try and help other people through something similar? Like you just wouldn't do that. So I had to wait until I figured out the solution and the tools to pull me out of the shitty situation in order to create a different reality for myself. So my intuition told me that like I needed to be in that room. So I trusted myself to figure it out. And I did. And that moment shifted my entire self-concept too, because I wasn't living in my victim matrix. I wasn't being a victim to my circumstances anymore. I was being the woman who finds a fucking way, period, end of story. Next, my next example here is I call this story $10 in my bank account and a flight to Texas. I had a friend invite me to her engagement party in Texas. Again, logically, I had no fucking business being like going. I had maybe $10 in my bank account. I had no cushion, no backup, but intuitively, I knew being in that room at that engagement party fucking mattered. Not only did I want to show up and show out for my girl and like be there for her during such an exciting chapter, but I also just fucking love her and love who she surrounds herself with, and what she does is the same thing as me. So of course I'm going to want to be around people who do what I do. I knew I was going to meet new people who also do what I do. I knew I was going to make new connections with people who thought the way that I thought, right? I knew that I was going to have a great fucking time. I knew that I was going to be able to connect more with my friend. Like all of these things. I knew surrounding myself with aligned women mattered. So I trusted myself, I got resourceful, and I found a fucking way. And because of that decision, these women are now some of my closest intuitive besties. And that didn't happen because I played it safe. It happened because I listened. And you might be asking or wondering, how does this apply to my life? And here is where I want you to really lean in. Your intuition doesn't just apply to quitting your job, starting a business, making massive leaps. It shows up in everyday moments. The ones that are like knowing when to leave a relationship, feeling when a job offer isn't aligned, sensing when a client isn't a match, knowing when to invest and when not to invest, choosing rest instead of pushing yourself, trusting a nudge when fear is loud. Most people ignore these signals and then they wonder why their life feels hard. Well, your intuition is always speaking, but most people have just never been taught how to hear it or how to trust it, let alone get it trained and honed in to an actual, like right down to a science to know the exact energetic fields that you need to look into, to ask specific questions, what fields, who you need to ask what questions to, how to get your intuition accurate down to a percentage of how much something is shifted or how rooted you are to a belief, or what's the energetic root cause of why you're experiencing back aches or plumbing issues or money reflections, right? Like imagine if you didn't have to seek outside of yourself for the answer anymore. You have it. You have it within yourself. The only thing is you don't know how to ask the right questions. You don't know how to trust that knowing. You don't know how to fully trust yourself, and you don't know how to listen to that intuition. But that's going to change because I use my intuition to make investments. I can feel and intuitively look in on whether or not something's going to pay off. I can see if something is going to expand me or if it's not in my best interest. I can tell the difference between fear and a hard no or a yes from intuition. It's not because I'm special. It's because intuition is a skill that you can train, a muscle that you can strengthen, and a relationship that you can build with yourself. And this is exactly why I'm hosting a free intuition workshop ahead of the next round of Awaken Intuition Training Camp, which officially opens February 5th. So if you've ever thought, I don't trust myself, I overthink everything, I don't know if this is intuition or fear, I wish I could feel more confident in my own decisions and stop outsourcing my fucking power, this work is for you. In the free workshop, I'm going to show you how intuition actually works in your real life, how to tell the difference between intuition, fear, and ego, and how to start using it in decisions that actually matter. And Awaken is where we go so deep, where you stop outsourcing your power, where you learn to trust yourself fully. Every single breakthrough in my life came through from a moment where I trusted myself before I had proof. That's intuition. And if you are feeling the nudge while you're listening to this, that's your intuition talking. And if you're interested, so the information on the free masterclass isn't out yet, but by next week, by next episode, it will be out. And you can, for now, just get on the wait list to join Awaken Intuition Training Camp, where I'll also be giving you the link for the free masterclass. If honing in on your intuition, this gift is something that you are feeling the pull intuitively, feeling that pull to learn more about, make sure you join this free masterclass. It's going to be so incredible. I cannot wait for this next round. I am doing another live round, and it's probably going to be the last live round that I do, where I'm not only teaching what's the content in the modules, but I'm also, in there live with you, practicing with you and your groups for intuition. So that's really exciting because I do have some new information and a new way of doing the structure of how I do Awaken. So really excited about this next round. I cannot freaking wait. February 5th is when the doors will be opening again for Awaken Intuition Training Camp Level 1. And if you have any questions, as always, you can reach out to me in the DMs at @MikaelaWallet_ or email the team at Mikaela@MikaelaWallet.com. All right, guys, thank you so much for listening. If you liked today's episode, if this resonated, share it with a friend and share it to your Instagram story and then tag me so that I can repost you. I appreciate you so much for being here and being a listener of the pod. And as always, we will chat soon. Bye. Thanks so much for tuning in to today's episode of Intuitive Flow with Mikaela Filar. If this lit something up inside of you, make sure you hit that follow button so you never miss another episode. We have new episodes coming out every week. If you love what you heard, drop a 5-star rating and review or share it with a family member or friend so that this podcast can grow and help more women rise. For more on self-love, self-image, intuition, and manifestation, come hang out with me on Instagram or TikTok at Mikaela Filar. The links are all in the show notes below. And as always, we will chat soon.